Hi, welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of 2 active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. My goal is to share with you how I stay on top of all life throws at me in one planner so that you might be able to do the same. I have my HB90 notebook with me, my planner that has my current tasks, and my already decorated planner pages. The first thing that I want to do is go through and mark off everything that I have completed this week and then move that back over into my HB90 notebook. I did end up posting them on different dates than what I had originally planned, but I did get them out. So I'm going to count it as a win. And my goal for my videos is not to complete them, but to work on everything that I have put over in my planner. And I was a little confused about where these Post-its needed to go based upon the date that was written on the Post-it. And then I realized that they actually went up in July. So then I moved them from my June completed page over to my July completed page. So just bear with me for a second as I get this down. We did start a new quarter last week, so I'm just getting used to being in July. I did complete 6 videos last week and got them posted. A few of them were a little later than I had originally planned. My goal is to get between 3 and 5 videos posted each week with the aim of actually getting 4 completed and posted. So the first step of my Kanban board reset is just marking everything off that I've completed and moving it over to the completed page in my HB90 notebook. The second step is to go through, clean up my in progress Kanban board. I do like to keep these in chronological order, so I move my post-it notes around a lot. It's very important to use the super sticky post-it notes if you are using this method. And then I'll go into my to-do items and choose those items that I need to work on for the next week. I do write the names of the video or the theme of the video in erasable ink because I do tend to change my mind frequently. There was one post-it note that was blank and I decided what I wanted to put there, and in the process decided that I wanted the next video to be something entirely different. So I do tend to move my videos around in my content calendar frequently. So I like that I use the erasable pen, and it's much easier to erase and rewrite a title than to redraw a whole post-it note. So now that my making all the plans items are moved over, I am going to put next Sunday's reset in here. At the time of this video, I had not done my Sunday reset for last week. Once I finished recording this video, I did go do my Sunday reset. And then for my home tasks, they are the same as last week. And we'll discuss that a little bit later in the video, why it is that way. Now I'm going to take those tasks that are on my in progress board and move them into my weekly planner spread, because if they are not right in front of my face, I tend to forget them. So if I have to flip around in my planner a lot, it just does not work well for me. So I'm going to take all of those tasks and write them in the sidebar. I do want to mention that the big focus for this week for the basement is just getting that dumpster rental scheduled. There are a few things that I would like to do down there, but every time I go down there, I'm like, dang it, wish I had a dumpster because I don't want to fill up the trash cans and make the garbage people hate us. So that dumpster rental is key. I am hoping to get the kids to help me load up my car a few times and go to the donation center. We do have quite a few items that could just be donated. They're in good shape still, but they just need 2 people to carry them up the basement stairs and get them in the car and then unload them once we get to the donation center. So hopefully we can get that done this week. I am trying something a little different up in the top section, and that is to put a dot next to any of my kids' events. So I start writing things in, I'm putting the dots in for my kids' events, and then I realize that I am working on the wrong week. I am looking at next week's schedule and getting completely confused. I also decide that I'm not loving the dots, and I'm not sure if it's the dots that I don't love or just the fact that I'm not writing in a straight line. I really need to think about how to keep those things straight. So maybe putting lighter lines on the page so they're not so in your face. I'm not sure, but I think I need to figure something out because me not being able to write in a straight line is driving me crazy. And here's where I'd figure out that I am writing just the complete wrong week and I need to start over. So I'll grab my whiteout tape, white out the dots, grab my eraser, erase all of the events that I put in so far, and then we'll get started on writing in the actual events of this week. But before I started writing in those calendar items, I did think of a few things that I needed to get done either today or very early in the week. I do have to go into the office today for an install. My normal in-office days are Tuesday and Thursday, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get all of these things done since I won't be at home, but they will get done early this week. Three of the to-do items are just filling out paperwork. One is an appointment I need to schedule, and then I need my son to email a coach, and I need to swing by a store to see if it is something to make an appointment for. It's a by appointment only, but I kind of want to see what's in there before I make the appointment. So now that I've gotten those things written down before I forgot them, I can get back to writing out my schedule for the week. Again, today I do have to go into the office. My daughter starts team camp today, and it is today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, right in the heat of the day. So that means that my son's training got pushed back to later in the evening since they train on the same field. And I do want to apologize. It is hard to read this. I'm realizing that my pen is running out of ink. And instead of getting up and getting a different pen, I just kept using this one. I do like to use a pen to completion, but since it is hard to read on screen, I will try to remember to grab a new erasable pen before next week's video. I am writing in my meetings, my kids' events, even though I don't have very much to do with them other than transportation for my daughter. And then my son is taking a college class this fall, so we have to do an orientation for that on Tuesday. Then on Saturday and Sunday, my daughter has a soccer tournament, and I am glad to have a erasable pin because the times have already changed once. Unfortunately, since I scheduled my shift in the concession stand to not collide with her games, but of course, they changed the game to right when I was in the concession stand, so hopefully my son will be able to cover for me. So, although this looks like a fairly busy week, it really isn't. The busy part about it is me just making sure that my kids get to where they need to be at the time that they need to be there. Now I can start dropping in the tasks that I need to complete for making all the plans. I do only write the video title or theme in the sidebar, and then as I'm writing out the tasks, I actually break them down into the individual task that needs to be completed. So the first thing is editing this video. That is the first task on Monday morning, and then that first video will be completed. Then I'll move down to the second video, and I will write down each of the individual tasks that need to be done for that. So planning the weekend, I need to record and edit. So I'll record on Monday and edit on Tuesday. I don't like to record and edit on the same day because it takes a while for the pictures or the photos or the videos to get from my phone to my computer. And then it takes a while for me to download it on my computer. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a faster way, but it's just easier if I record on one day and edit on the next day. So I'll just step through each one of these videos and write down the individual tasks that need to be completed. Again, the tasks on my post-it notes are scripting, videoing, editing, scheduling, watching, and liking. And I do not write the scheduling on my to-do list because that is just part of the editing process for me. And I do not write down the watch and the liking because I just check in every morning. And if there's a video up, I go ahead and watch it. Otherwise, I just try to answer any comments that have come in since the last time I was on. So for Saturday and Sunday, I'm trying to keep my to-do list very light because I'm betting that I will end up spending pretty much the whole weekend at the soccer fields, helping out and filling in where they need help. We are hosting the soccer tournament, so it is a great fundraiser for the team, but it also means that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So I'm just trying to keep the weekend a little bit light of scheduled tasks. My mom may also come up and watch some games, so again, just want to keep my plate fairly light if possible. I do treat my weekend task list as one big task list, so I will put all of my making all the plans tasks on Sunday and all of my home and personal tasks on Saturday. So now that I have gotten all my making all the plans tasks written in, I will come back in and write in all of my home and personal tasks. I'm hoping that it will be a fairly light week this week. My daughter was not feeling well this weekend, so the boys went and celebrated 4th of July and did all of the 4th of July activities while my daughter and I stayed home. I washed 11 loads of laundry, most of which were bedding that were fairly clean, but they'd been sitting in the corner waiting for space bags and to be packed away for months. So I rewashed all of that, got them loaded into space bags, and put them away. That felt so good. And then I cleaned the house from top to bottom. I didn't do a deep, deep clean, but it is reset, completely picked up. It just feels so much lighter and better in this house. And now I feel like I'm ready to go work on the basement. The dryer was picked up last weekend, and I spent a few minutes just getting the other half of the garage completely picked up. So now we can get two cars back in the garage, which feels great as well. But all that to say that I got a ton accomplished last week, and this week I feel like I don't need to do a ton of cleaning around the house. I can just do a quick once over before my mom comes, and then next week I can do a full weekly home blessing and get back into the routine of things. But this is my spread for this week. I hope that everybody has a productive and healthy week. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.